Hi guys, in this video I'm going to give you 4 industry tips to instantly take your crane or jib shots to the next level. Alright, let's go. If you've been following my series on Cinematic School, you should already know how to perform a crane or jib shot, but now you want to improve your gimbal technique and to make this move even better. So if you don't already know how to do the crane or jib move, then make sure you check out these videos here while I show you the basic gimbal moves. Now, although these videos I've linked to are specific to a certain gimbal, they are actually relevant to any gimbal. Now, these tips can be done on any gimbal, including the Osmo Pocket, the Osmo Mobile, and also crane gimbals and stuff like that. So if you have a gimbal, whatever its model or manufacturer, then these tips in these videos are going to work for you. Alright, let's start off with tip 1. So tip 1, the crane or jib shot can be used to reveal a scene, starting from behind an object and then rising up for the big reveal. Now this could be a wall, a plant, or any object, and all of these work just as well. Now for this shot to work, make sure that you lock the exposure and the focus manually on the scene to be revealed, otherwise the camera will just will set the focus and exposure itself on the foreground object first, and then as you move up, the focus and exposure will change to the scene behind and it's not going to look very good. We want the foreground object itself to be out of focus, as that's not really important, but what we do want is the scene behind to be in focus, so make sure you lock that exposure and the focus. Okay, let's move on to tip 2. Now, it's not actually necessary to do really large height differences when you're doing your crane or jib shot. They could actually be quite small if you're actually quite close to an object. For example, if you want to reveal some intricate details of a decorative object, for example this medieval door in this shot here, then you can move the camera quite close to the object and then just simply slide the camera up or down a short distance to reveal the details that you want. The closer to the object, the less height the camera needs to move for the shot to be effective. If you're too close or too far, then it could make the viewer feel a little bit nauseous. Okay, tip 3, the crane shot can also be used to reveal the details of an object or the object in its entire environment. For a really tall object, perhaps start at the bottom and then rise up to the top if the object is at a height that makes it possible to do so. In this example, we use a crane shot to reveal the more details of the figurine in its location, and in this example we're going to show the statue on a fountain and where it is in the overall location. Tip 4, for some extra height, put your gimbal on an extension rod to get some extra height for your crane move. Now if your gimbal is quite heavy like the Crane M2S, then I suggest that you use something like a strong monopod. Now if you have a Pocket 2 or a Pocket 3, then even the 3-meter long extension rod could provide a really large arc of movement, much larger than can be achieved by using just your hands.